They always said, family comes first. But in mine, family meant everyone except me. I was the middle child, Ethan. My sisters, Olivia and Chloe, were the stars of every parts of life. They got everything, the love, the attention, the praise. I got the leftovers. Mom used to say, one day they'll get married, and everything that's ours will be yours. I nodded. At 15, I didn't care about money. I just wanted to feel seen. On their birthdays, we'd go on vacations. On mine, it was just dinner at home. When Olivia graduated, she got a car. When Chloe finished high school, she got a trip abroad. I turned 18, expecting at least a small celebration. But that morning, Dad just smiled and said, "Son, when will you stand on your feet? We can't keep providing for you forever." That night, I packed my bag. No one stopped me. No one even noticed. I had about $2,000 saved up and a friend who needed a roommate. So I moved in with him. I worked 2 part-time jobs, one in a coffee shop, one delivering groceries. Life wasn't easy, but it was mine. Every morning, I'd see texts in the family group about Olivia's promotion or Chloe's new phone. No one asked how I was doing, but I didn't complain. I just kept working. Then, one evening, I went to a family dinner, my first visit in months. That's when it happened. Chloe joked about my minimum wage life, and everyone laughed. I smiled, but said nothing. Then she teased me again about my grades. That time, I replied calmly, "At least I didn't drop out of college." The table went silent. Chloe's eyes filled with tears. Dad slammed his hand on the table, yelling, "Don't talk to your sister like that. She has dreams. She'll be a national gaming star one day. What are you, a coffee boy?" I looked around the table, everyone staring, waiting for me to apologize. But I didn't. Something in me changed that night. I stood up, said nothing, and walked out. No one tried to stop me. No one called after me. That was the last time I saw them for years. I didn't know it then, but that was the day everything changed, for me and for them. After that night, I promised myself one thing. I'd build a life so strong that they'd have to hear my name, even if they never spoke it. I focused on college, studied computer science, and took online gigs to pay tuition. Most days, I'd skip meals to save money, but I never skipped learning. I started coding storage systems for small warehouses. At first, no one wanted to buy them, but I didn't stop. I refined, rebuilt, and cold emailed over 100 companies. 99 ignored me. 1 said yes. That yes changed everything. That one client introduced me to others. In 6 months, I had a list of small companies relying on my system. I called it Data Nest. Simple, clean, efficient. I didn't tell my family. They wouldn't have cared anyway. By 23, I had a small team and a rented office. My day started at dawn and ended past midnight. Then one day, I saw Chloe's live stream. She was still gaming, still chasing fame, barely getting 100 views. Olivia posted pictures of her corporate life, smiling, but her captions sounded tired. Meanwhile, I was making my first big deal, a contract worth $500,000. I still remember the night it hit me. I had done it, without their support, without their belief. But strangely, I didn't feel happy. Success without family felt incomplete. Then, out of nowhere, I got a call from Mom. I stared at the screen for a long moment. My hands trembled. After all those years, she finally called. I answered. Her voice was quiet, almost shaky. "Ethan, we need your help." I froze. For years, those words never existed in our world. Mom explained Olivia's company was downsizing. She'd lost her job. Chloe's gaming wasn't working out, and Dad's health was declining. They were struggling, financially, emotionally, everything. I listened, every word, and then silence. For the first time, they needed me, but I didn't gloat. I simply said, "I'll see what I can do." Days later, I visited them. The house looked smaller, older. My father sat quietly, no longer the loud, confident man I remembered. Mom hugged me tightly, maybe for the first time in years. Olivia avoided my eyes. Chloe barely spoke. I could have thrown everything they'd said back at them, but I didn't. Instead, I wrote a check, enough to clear their debts, and as I handed it over, Dad's eyes filled with tears. He whispered, "We don't deserve this," and for the first time, I agreed. But I wasn't doing it for them. I was doing it for the boy who once waited for love that never came. They asked me to stay for dinner. I did, the same table, the same seats, but everything felt different. Olivia finally spoke, her voice trembling. "Ethan, I'm sorry, we should have been there for you. Chloe wiped her tears, saying, You were right, I wasn't ready for the world. For a moment, silence filled the room, the kind that heals instead of hurts. That night, as I walked out of that house, I didn't feel like the boy who left years ago. I felt like a man who built his own name from nothing. The family that once ignored me now looked at me with respect. Maybe guilt, maybe pride. But I realized something. Forgiveness isn't about them asking. It's about you letting go. I left them behind that night again, not out of anger, but peace. Because I finally understood that love isn't something you beg for. It's something you build for yourself when no one else will. A year later, DataNest went global. I gave jobs to over 100 people. People like me, who started with nothing. One evening, I got an email from Chloe. Ethan, we're proud of you. No fancy words, no apologies, just that. I smiled. Maybe that's all I ever wanted. To be seen, to be valued, to prove that sometimes being the middle child doesn't mean being forgotten. Sometimes it means you were the one meant to rise when no one believed you could.